Normal plan is usually on the Saturday, a couple of hours before the first game will be, or maybe an hour or so before the first game, will be at Rosie's Bar on the corner in Chinatown, just before you get to the stadium, and then probably straight after the final match of the day, we'll be back there as well till they close. And so if you want to catch us outside of the stadium, that's probably where we'll be. Joshua's not allowed in there, is he?
I was going to say we'll be stood outside it
exactly.
It's the only bar that Joshua's ever been thrown out of.
Yeah, yet.
Yeah.
So we'll be outside it, yeah. So you won't miss us. We'll probably have to come up with somewhere else to meet up, maybe on the Sunday before the match action. Any suggestions welcome, and yeah, I'm staying over the Sunday night as well this year, so really need to think maybe about somewhere for going and eating after your game as well. So I'll put my mind to that tomorrow night. But please do try and catch up with us over the weekend. Send us, tweets or Instagrams for where you are in the ground and stuff. And me, Sarah, David will all be there to in our various locations in the stadium. So we'll try and say hello. We'd love to see as many of you as possible. We always enjoy it. We'll get to watch Grandad H flirting with the ladies again outside of the pub. I'm sure we'll get plenty of that. Do you know what? I haven't written down when I've written down the games. I haven't written down your games on Sky because
I noticed that.
Yeah, because no one's going to watch because both got so many players out.
Yes, Sky have abandoned that one being shown.
No, that's not the case. Okay, so we'll get to the game. We don't know any of the teams. Obviously, we know bits and pieces of potential injury news with some sides, but we're not sure on everything. But it kicks off with the big one at the bottom, Saturday, 2:30 p.m. All games on Sky. Wakefield versus Toulouse. I think, Sarah, the stadium will have obviously plenty of Wakefield fans who make the trip, but everyone that's in the stadium that isn't a Wakefield fan will, I think, be supporting Toulouse as kind of the underdog and wanting to make it more interesting at the bottom of the table and that sort of stuff. So I think it could be interesting, this one. I think it could be an enjoyable early atmosphere on the Saturday, and I think because there's something on it, more neutrals might go and watch this game than might ordinarily watch the first game on the Saturday.
Yeah, I think so too. I think very often it's just that first one on the Saturday. It's often someone like Huddersfield against Wakefield, something that is a bit of a dead rubber and actually nobody even cares, and so people will start filing in about halfway through. But I do think, like you said, that actually people might think, do you know something, I'll get there for the start, or at least shortly after it's finished anyway. Shortly after it's started.
Yeah, so I'm going to ride the Toulouse optimism from last weekend's performance and go Toulouse by 8.
I'm really torn on this one because I feel like it's a heart versus head thing. I would love Toulouse to win, but I think Wakefield will do it. So I'm going to go Wakefield by 4.
Yeah, and I think there's no. I think arguments can be made either way, and there's no strong argument either way.
No, and do you know something? Until you started talking, I was like, yeah, I'm going to go for Toulouse, and then I was like, no, I think.
Yeah, I think if Wakefield get the right field position, they should be. They'll score points. It's all about if Toulouse can win the territory, but if they do, I think that they'll win. Saturday, 4:45 p.m. The top two go head to head. St Helens versus Wigan. The last time we saw them, an exciting game in the semi-final at Leeds. Wigan winning that one. Saints having previously won comprehensively on Good Friday before that. From the Wigan perspective, it looks like Tommy Luluai will still be out in this game. Cade Cust is an outside chance of being back in the matchday squad. No other injury or suspension any new injury or suspension concerns for Wigan. Tommy Makinson, we don't know the upshot of his hamstring strain that he seemed to be that forced him off the pitch against Catalans. Obviously, Matty Lees is free after his ban was overturned, so Saints will be down on a couple of their key players from injuries already. So I think it's in the balance. I think it's close enough for me to go with my heart and say Wigan to win by 4, but this really could. There's no certainty of whichever way this could go. I think Wigan could win by a few scores, Saints could win by a few scores. It could even be a draw and a golden point game. So I think it could be anything, but I'll go Wigan by 4 for no reason other than I want that.
Yeah, I'm going to go Saints by 8. Just, they're top and they get the calls and they cheat well.
It's weird because there's no favourite for the neutrals in that game, is there?
No, that's what I was thinking.
Then the headline act, I suppose you'd have to call it, on Saturday 7 p.m. Leeds versus Castleford. Leeds coming off a big win. The last couple of weeks their attack has started to look like it's got something going with it. Castleford, really good defensive performance that they're coming off the back of. String of wins for them as well. They found themselves in the top 6. McShane's out with a ban, isn't he? We know Truman's out with injury. I think those are significant enough factors for me to say Leeds by 6. But I don't. That's not said with strong confidence. It's just basically on the missing pieces from Castleford's side. I think Leeds will be able to score more points than Cass will. So Leeds by 6 and Leeming to be man of the match.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Because I think that there will be really big misses for Castleford, and I think it'll depend, who are they going to fill the gaps with. However, I think if Cass can replicate their defence from Friday, wasn't it? I think that they'll be able to do enough to spoil it for Leeds. I think for Leeds, Cruz Leeming and Blake Austin were good for them on Saturday against us, but we gave them miles and miles of space. And I think if Cass's defence is up in like Cruz Leeming's face from dummy half, like they were with Danny Levi, I think that might be enough to just unsettle them and and then they have got players that can score. So I'm going to go Cass by 8.
Good stuff. Moving on to Sunday's games. Earlier start, as it always is on the Sunday. 1 p.m. kickoff for Huddersfield against Salford, to say it the way round it is on the sheet. This could either be a high-scoring game that Salford win or a low-scoring game that Huddersfield win, and I'm not quite certain. And I hope it's the high-scoring Salford win, but I suspect it'll be the low-scoring Huddersfield win. I'm going to go Huddersfield by 8, and it'll be something like 16-8 or something like 14-6, something like that.
I'm going to go the other way because
Excellent.
I like Salford more than I like Huddersfield. And I'm going to say Salford by 12.
Good stuff. Let's see if we're going to keep this going. I don't think we're going to keep this picking differently going for this next game, but we'll see. Sunday, 3:15 p.m. Catalans versus Warrington. Now, Catalans, as a reminder, do have a few suspensions for this game. Warrington are sweating on the fitness of George Williams to see if he'll come back into things after missing last week. I reckon Powell will play Dean this week if Williams isn't playing, because let's face it, they weren't creative without a proper halfback. So I think they'll go with one. So that makes it maybe interesting. I don't know. I'm going Catalans by 16. Without their suspended players, I still think that they've shown in the last 18 months that their squad depth is impressive. Warrington have shown that their ability to lose games is equally as impressive.
As much as I'd really like to carry on and go for Warrington just for the fun of going against you, I can't.
No.
I mean, it could be, something ridiculous. Catalans by 30, couldn't it? I think, yeah, I think, yeah, Catalans by 14 is conservative, and that's what I'm going to go for.
Yeah, fair play. Basically, all the other games we think are kind of like single figure differences, really, and then this one we're thinking big win for Catalans. Last game, 5:30 p.m. kickoff for this one. Hull Kingston Rovers versus Hull FC. Which battered and patched up Hull side will take the spoils, Sarah?
Well,
I don't need to ask, do I? But
no. I mean, to be honest, before today, I think I'd have gone for Rovers because I didn't know if we had 17 players that were able to play. Josh Sim, he's going to come good for me, maybe. And so I'm going to go Hull by 10.
And in the spirit of the game, I'm going to go Hull KR by 1.
Oh.
I genuinely have no idea what we'll see out of this game. I think that actually might make it more intriguing and interesting for the neutral to hang around for, because we don't know what we're going to get. It gives that element of uncertainty of outcome that people talk about as a selling point for sports, to a neutral audience. So hopefully that'll have that factor in this weekend's action, and that's what I'm hoping for. And I'm just going to go KR over FC because it's what we were talking about going the other way on so many games so far.
Yep. You watch it. Catalans will be the one result that, Warrington will beat Catalans, so we'll both be wrong on it.
Yeah, probably. That's undoubtedly going to happen. In the Championship, Super League and Sky aren't the only people in Newcastle this weekend, because the Championship and Premier Sports are in town on Friday night for the curtain raiser to Magic Weekend, which is Newcastle versus Bradford, Friday 7:45 p.m. If you can't make it to the match, you can watch it on Premier Sports. And there's a second Premier Sports game on Monday as well. Probably the game of the round anyway. Two upwards looking playoff position sides, York versus Halifax. That's Monday at 7:45, also on Premier Sports. Then into League One. The R-League game is Cornwall versus Doncaster, Saturday at 1 p.m. I strongly suspect that Cornwall will be outmatched by Doncaster in that one, but see if they can pull off another home upset there. The Cornwall side, good scheduling time-wise, that it won't clash with the Magic Weekend matches. It should end just as the Wakefield Toulouse game is starting, you would think. Game of the week, Midlands versus North Wales. Let's see how Midlands bounce back. Saturday 5:30 p.m. Bounce back from the big news in the week about the change in ownership structure there. North Wales as well. They've been through a bit of a up and down period lately. Midlands is a side that they would expect to be beating this year on how things are. So let's see if they can get back on track with that fixture. Make sure you get your fan views in on all of those games. Any other games you're at, any ludicrously scheduled community game this weekend. I can't believe they're insisting on the kids playing when they could have actually put them on buses and taken them up to Newcastle.
I know. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Well, having said that, Beverley aren't playing this weekend. They've got a match on Thursday instead.
Well done to Beverley. There's teams like I just don't get it. It seems like these are opportunities missed. Like, how do you get the kids? Yeah, the kids love the sport anyway. They're playing the sport, but how do you get them to have these really strong memories? You send them all up as a team to a big event like this where they can see all the stars, get loads of pictures with loads of players.
Yeah, and see the trophies and everything else.
And it doesn't sell out. So if community game clubs were phoning the RFL up or the Super League up, whatever, I'm sure they'd do batch ticket deals for them to get them in the ground and get them, whatever. Anyway, hopefully we will still see lots of kids at the Magic Weekend enjoying the festivities, and we'll get lots of your fan views next week as well to recap all the action. We're now going to move on to the show wrap up.